So we have a new Spielberg Alien movie, and let me tell you, it is literally just another Spielberg Alien movie. I went into Disclosure Day with actually knowing nothing about it. I've done that two films in a row now. I did it with He-Man. I've done it with this Master of the Universe, not He-Man, but whatever. Um, and didn't see a trailer. Just went into it. I didn't even know it was about aliens. I guessed it was based on the fact that it was called Disclosure Day, and I was right. And before I get into my thoughts on this, spoiler free, no worries on that front. So, with that said, I liked Disclosure Day. I didn't love it. I really wanted to. I really, really tried to love this movie, but I just couldn't. But I did enjoy it somewhat. I think the film is too long. It slumps in the middle. I was like, I really try not to check what time it is when I'm in a cinema watching a film, but I had to with this one. I was like, how long is left of this? And it does pick up towards the end. And I think the problem is the film is called Disclosure Day. And right at the beginning, they have a little conversation about what Disclosure Day means. And by that, I mean, like, can the human race handle, like, the truth is out there? Can we handle the truth? To quote a great man. And they talk briefly about, well, what does this mean for religion? What does this mean for our place in creation? We have to reevaluate everything, and that is such a fascinating, like, topic to explore and to really deep dive. And other than briefly mentioning it at the start and then near the end, they really don't talk any more about that. And I was so disappointed about that because, like I say, it's such an interesting topic to explore. But yeah, they just didn't do it. So what did they do for the rest of the movie? It's basically a big chase movie. So the general setup, and I made sure to watch the trailer so I know what the trailer spoilers are, and I'll talk briefly about them, but not the actual movie spoilers. So yeah, if you're the kind of person who just wants to go in blind and not knowing anything from the trailer, then you wouldn't have clicked on this video anyway. So there's a couple of characters that work for this shady agency that has been keeping all of the like aliens that have been visiting the Earth, and like Roswell, a bunch of others are mentioned. A lot of stuff that are like theories online, that kind of thing, and that have been theories for many years before there was an online. But anyway, I digress. They have this documentation, and they want to disclose it because they believe that the world is ready to hear the truth. They think the truth is not owned by this agency, who is run by Colin Firth. Like, he's the actor that plays the I don't know whether he's actually the head of it, but like he seems to be. And his character is so much fun. Like, I really do love his performance. In fact, I will say there isn't a bad performance in this movie. All the actors, from Colin Firth, Wyatt Russell, Emily Blunt, I'm forgetting a few of the others, but they're all good. So I am very happy to say that the acting, no issues there. But these characters decide to break away from this agency, and they're on the run from them. And then there's another character that's kind of gets involved in this. I'm not going to say how, but find out for yourself. But most of the film is just the agency pursuing these characters, and it's not even done in a smart way. It's it's very generic. Shady people in suits chasing people, and it's incredibly dumb. Like, there's one part where this guy and this woman, they're in like a farmhouse, and the woman is she's in the farmhouse. The guy is like in a field somewhere, and he gets the tip off that they're coming for you, and like, don't go back to the house. He goes back to the house, and there's all of these like agents, let's call them that, just spread out across this farm, and then there's a fence. Now, you know a farm fence. It doesn't obscure vision all that much. It's there to stop sheep getting out. It's not there to because they're just thin bits of wood, and then you can see through the gaps. But he's crouching along the other side of them, and they're all stood there, and they don't see him. And it's I think at one point I turned to my friend in the cinema and just said like, an Assassin's Creed bush provides more stealth than that fence. It's that ridiculous. And then they're escaping in the car and they're trying to open the door, and like the driver, all the agents are trying to open the door to pull them out, but somehow with all of their numbers and their guns, they just can't. They can't do it, even though they're crashing through walls and stuff, and the car would be screwed up by that point. And then they're like pursuing this like run down, broken up car, and somehow they manage to get away. And then they're just like hiding behind a rock, just like in plain view, and they still don't see him. So it's really, really dumb stuff. You kind of have to switch your brain off to that, which is difficult because this isn't the kind of movie that pictures itself as something where you have to switch your brain off to enjoy. It comes across like it's trying to be an intellectual movie, but it really isn't. Which is a shame, because I'm all for like a dumb alien movie. That's fine. But this isn't that, but it has dumb scenes. Several. I won't go into all of them, but like that's like prime example of the film being a really dumbass chase scene. Although I will say there was one part where they are trying to climb aboard a train from a car. Visually, that was just really cool. Like it was just a good scene to watch. So it does have that going for it. Now, the actual like aliens themselves, they do have how much can I say? They have that classic alien look to them, which I really like that. Like you could look at it and say, "Oh, that's a bit generic. Couldn't you come up with something a bit more interesting?" But what I love about that is in a world where aliens have been visiting Earth, and you've had people like, snapshots at them, and they're like, oh, well, it's fake and all that stuff. But where do we get that, like, typical generic cliched alien look from? In a world where aliens are real, it's from like people spotting them. So it makes so much sense that they actually use like this generic alien, little spaceman kind of thing with like the skinny arms and the big eyes, like Destroy All Humans kind of thing. Love that game. But anyway, I digress again. Tangents. So visually, I really like them, and there's a scene in the trailer, and obviously in the film as well, but that's not always given. I remember how they lied about the Hulk. Anyway, there's a scene where the aliens disguise themselves as animals to like approach humans to make them feel more comfortable, more at ease. And there's a scene where this deer is above someone, and they transition from like the deer's eye, and it moves over, and the camera kind of like pans over the deer, and then it turns into like the alien's eye, and it is such a cool transition. It is really well done. So there's a lot of cool imagery in this film, and I really enjoy that. So personally, I would say, while I'm disappointed by it, because it skipped over everything that could have been just so interesting in favour of kind of just being a generic chase movie. And then it does, the actual disclosure part is interesting, because I don't think it's a spoiler to say that Disclosure Day is about a disclosure day. Yeah, I don't think that's a spoiler. It's in the name of the film. But that is interesting. It doesn't go on too far into like, what happens after Disclosure Day, but that makes sense. Like, why would you? It's called Disclosure Day, so, that's what it all builds up to. It's just, you could have taken about half an hour from this film, I think. And oh, I also mentioned that there's two characters that are have a backstory with the aliens. I think would be fair to say. Again, stuff that's in the trailer, and I don't think that any of this was needed at all. You could have just had people who worked for this agency who broke away and then thought, no, the world needs to know the truth. We're done hiding from this. They pursue them a little bit, do a little bit of the pursuing and the trying to keep the cover up going. That's fine. Don't make the entire movie about that, but it's fine to do some of it. And then, do the leak and get to the news and, all that stuff. That's how I would have done it. Maybe I'm missing something, but I didn't see the value in having those characters. I thought they were more of a distraction, and it was using this like alien device like throughout the film that they stole from the agency, and it's just a MacGuffin device that can just get them out of random situations. Again, not something that's needed. And if they are going to do that, explore it more, maybe. Um, so without going into too many more spoilers, all I'll say is that for you to enjoy this, I think you need to ask yourself, like, how much do you enjoy alien movies that's about the possibility of alien life and like government cover-ups? If you enjoy that part of it, you might find something here. I think you will. If you enjoy Spielberg films, especially his recent ones, again, there's a lot of like his filming tropes. John Williams doing the score, and like the fact that John Williams has like done the score for this is insane. Like, isn't that he's like getting on a bit? So that's dedication, and the music is great. But John Williams, isn't it? So there's certainly a lot to be had. So if you're a Spielberg fan of his more modern work, then yeah, I'd recommend checking it out. I mean, to be honest, you probably will anyway. You won't wait for some random idiot on the internet to tell you. But I'd love to know what you think. And general moviegoers, you could say wait for it. I don't think it's something that you need to see it in a theatre, like in a cinema. But it's a decent enough time. I thought there's probably people who enjoyed it way more than me. I think it's been reviewed fairly well. Like Rotten Tomatoes seems to be giving it a decent score, but that could just mean like 80% of people are giving it a 7 out of 10. So I don't know. What metric is that to go by? For me, I had a. It was fun enough. It could have been way more. Could have been way better. It does not come close to Spielberg's earlier work. Like Close Encounters of the Third Time is obviously the biggest one to draw parallels from. That is a much better film. That was a product of its time, which is okay because you can't really go, well, I'm making this film to be relevant in 30 years' time. Yeah, like that film was 30 years ago. I'm stuck in the year 2000. But yeah, if you are a fan of Spielberg's like 70s work, 80s work, Close Encounters, E.T., Jaws, all that, but you don't like his more recent work, then maybe it'd be interesting to know where you stand on it, especially because of the parallels between his like earlier Alien work. But I don't think you'd really get behind it. And that's kind of where I am, because I've not actually seen a lot of Spielberg's latest work. The last Spielberg film I watched was Ready Player One, which, to be fair, I did really enjoy. But I need to catch up. I really do. I should have done, to prepare myself for this, but whatever. So yeah, I'd recommend it just off of the basis of I want to know where you stand on it. But I would say watch the trailer because you get a better sense. Like, I obviously went into it blind, which there is something to be said for that. But if you're actually, before you drop like 15 quid, it's insane how much a movie ticket costs these days. Before you drop that on it, check the trailer out. That will tell you whether you're likely to enjoy it. Just know that if you are going into it because you really want that discussion on what Disclosure Day means, what it means to people, what it means for religion, what it means for everyone's day to day and their comprehension of the world around them, you're not going to get much of that, which is kind of the cornerstone of why I'm a little disappointed with this, because it is a film called Disclosure Day is such a playground to discuss that. And to be honest, this is the mad thing, right? I know it's going to sound like a movie that has nothing to do with this, but Batman v Superman, that has more of a discussion on what alien life means for like every individual on the planet Earth, for their views on religion. Like, they're not, they find out that they're not special on the Earth, then they're not even special in the entirety of the universe. It's an interesting topic. Batman v Superman by no means discusses that well, but it does more of it than Disclosure Day, and that just breaks my mind. The fact that it does a better job than a film that sounds like it was geared to have that discussion, and Batman v Superman managed to outdo it. What? But anyway, that's just my personal take. I would be very interested in hearing what other people think of this. But for me, it was an okay enough time. It was a fun one to watch on Friday after work, but it could have been so much more, easily. Anyway, that'll do it from me. I hope you've enjoyed my little ramblings, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.